Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are playing EGE basketball. I'm using two teams from the book. So in the book, I have a fictional six-team regional professional league, three teams from Colorado, and then three teams from around the West in a regional pro basketball league based in 1963. Every roster has 10 players, and you have to select 8 players for your starting lineup. These are the only 8 that can actively impact the game and score points, and etc., etc. In limited space in this notebook, I'm only going to do points. I'm not going to track rebounds, steals, and blocks. Those are just records anyway. They don't actually affect play. They just would tell you who got steals, etc. I will not do that. So be aware that you can have roster sizes in your league, say 15-player rosters, but before every game you got to select the 8 that can play. So if you limit your rosters to 12 in your leagues, you can only have 8 playing, right? In college, if you want to have rosters that are bigger even, fine. So if you want to create, now in my book I don't tell you how to create freshmen, etc. You can just create players and note them as freshmen or whatever. But you have to select your starting 8 for each game. So I have my starting point guard for Denver is Brown, starting shooting guard is Lake, small forward is Stills, power forward is Davis, center is Johns, and then off the bench, the backup center is Kipling, backup center is Grant, backup center is forward. Remember, though, on every role, they're all potentially on the court and active. It's an abstraction that if Grant's in and scores points, well, then he might have been in for one of these other players for a run of time. All right, on Pueblo's, on the flip side, point guard is Wilson, shooting guard is James, small forward is Curtin, power forward is Bell, Ruiz is the center, backup center Simmons coming off the bench, backup guard Paul, and forward Diamond. And there's our starting, there's the group that's suited up, ready to play. There might be another 4 guys sitting on the bench in civilian clothes, out, they weren't active for the game, whatever the case may be. So all I need is my offensive numbers per turn, and I need defense to reduce those buckets, and I need points per instance. All right, and there we are. We're ready to play. I've already set up my quarters. I got 6 turns for the first quarter, 6 for the second, 6 for the third, 6 for the fourth. And remember, a turn in the pro game, a turn is 2 minutes of action. Again, it's going to be heavily abstracted. You're going to see sometimes there's going to be people score a lot more points in a 2-minute window, but it'll work out through the course of the game. All right, so here we go. And remember, EGE games, the number one conceit of the EGE games is you use a 2d6 dice to create a number. That number will activate, this is the engine, it will activate ranges of things that occur simultaneously. And all you're doing is witnessing it and tracking it. Okay? So the number one conceit of an EGE game is that it uses a curve. 1 roll per turn, whatever the turn is. The turn can be the number of rounds, the number of turns in a combat, the number of minutes in a game, whatever your turns represent. You need to have a window. So missions, like in Tally-Ho, some missions are 4 turns long, some missions are 6, some missions are 12. So 12 would be a mission where you're flying deep into enemy territory and you got to do your doing and you got to get back. A short one might be a scouting, the Dawn Patrol, just 4 turns, flying around the area, making sure there's no enemy airplanes coming or something, right? So you limit the turns to limit the mission. Or in Gladiators, you're going to have small battles, medium-sized battles, and then you'll have epic long battles in Gladiators. Okay. So in basketball, of course, it's always a regulation time, so you're going to have set quarters. Same with and in college, it's going to be set halves. In baseball, it would be innings. In hockey, it would be periods, right? Now, how long do you want those turns to be? Do you want to represent a single period? Do you want to represent 4 minutes in a period, per period, whatever, right? Whatever you want to do, you need to make sure that the activation of the simultaneous actions can create the right amount of instances for points, goals, whatever. Number 2 conceit is that you don't have charts. There are no charts in an EGE game. So part of what made EGE great is all I needed were my team rosters or I need my roster of gladiators. I needed my team of soccer players, my team of basketball players, and 2 dice, and I'm ready to play. That's all you need. So technically your charts are your team rosters. You don't ever check other charts. Now, basketball has a foul chart for both college and pro. It is an extraneous chart that just lets you determine who got the personal foul. That's all. So if you wanted to track fouls so guys can foul out, you could roll to see who gets the foul. Very simple, right? So there are charts, but you don't need them. You can just track your personal fouls and worry about it. If you ended up getting a lot of fouls, then yeah, you're going to want to probably start tracking them, right? Because if a guy fouls out, you have to take his array off the board. So this is about generating a random number, and that random number is filtered through all of these arrays to find out what happens. So that is the EGE system in a nutshell. All right, so let's play basketball. Now, our first 2 minutes of the first quarter, we're looking at a 4. So our ER number is 4, and then we got to look at all 4s. So Denver, do they have any 4 scores? They do. Kipling scores, and what does he score? His points, he scores 1. Does Denver have any 4 defenders? Yes, it does. So Kipling, that's a -2 to a 1, so no points. Holy cow, Denver is going to score 0 in the first 2 minutes. 4 for Pueblo, they're going to score nothing as well, and there's no defense over here, but neither team in the first 2 minutes has hit a bucket. My God. Okay, second turn, it's going to be low scoring. Never mind, 9. I don't think it's going to be that low scoring. All right, this is a big number for Denver, I believe. 9 is going to see Davis score 5. Okay, so Davis scores 5. So Denver, is there any 9 defenders? There are not. So Davis, who is their big center, he's a stud. So they have 2 big men. They have a power forward who scores 5 per instance with 2 instances, and they have Johns, their center, who can score 5 points in 2 instances. I rolled a 9. Davis scores 5 points, and they do not have a defender who can stop a bucket. So when Davis is activated, he is a beast. He gets 5 points in that 2 minutes. Over here, Wilson scores 3 for them. James scores 5. That's 8. Bell scores 3. That's 11. And Diamond scores 4. That's 15 points for Pueblo. And they have no one with a 9 defense. Pueblo scores 15. Folks, it's 15-5 in the first 4 minutes of play. 7 means personal foul. Very simple. 7. It's going to be Denver, 2, and 2 for Pueblo. And then we have to roll a second ER. And I could determine who the foul's on, but I'm not going to worry about it unless I start rolling a lot of them. 3. So we still go and finish the turn. So both teams are going to get to the free throw line in this 2-minute window, and they're going to get shots. They're going to score 2 buckets. And then 3. Stills drains a 3-point shot, and there's no defense to stop it. So Denver will end up with 3 more. And over here, we do not have a 3 score, so 0. So 5-2 in that set of minutes. This is the 8th minute of action. 8 minutes of action. 7 again. We got another personal foul. Denver 2. 2 for Pueblo. And again, now I might have to start worrying about personal foul trouble, right? 9. Oh, it's a huge number. We already know Denver scores 5. But Pueblo scores 15. Folks, Pueblo has already got 30-something points in the first quarter. Here we go. Turn 5 is 7. Another personal foul, so we probably should be checking these. Wow, and the second number is an 11. This is a rare number. Let's see if anybody scores on that. 3 for Brown. 4. So Denver gets 6, but there's a defender who takes away a bucket. So 4 for Denver. And over here we do have Ruiz, who scores 3, but do they have a defender? They do. They have 2, so nothing, because they have 2 defenders who take off 4 points, and he scored 3, so that was that. Final minute, we've seen 3 personal fouls in the first quarter, and another personal foul, 7. Jeez, I should be recording fouls because we may end up with somebody fouling out, but oh well. And 8 is the second number. This is huge for Denver. Denver gets from Lake 3, from Stills 3, that's 6. From Davis, that's 5. From Johns, that's 5. That is 16 points, folks. And we have 1, 2 defenders take away 4, so 14 points for Denver before the quarter end. Wilson scores 3. Curtin scores 4. That's 7.
Simmons scores a 4. That's 11. Paul scores 3. That's 14. Defense, they have 1, 2. 6 from 14 is 8. And there it is, folks. What a great first quarter. Denver total first quarter 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21, 25, 39 points in the first quarter for Denver. Wow. Pueblo scores 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 38, 46 points. Folks, we have got a record-breaking game going here. Remember, Denver has 1, 2, 3, 4 players that can score on an 8. Pueblo has 1, 2, 3, 4 players who can score on a 9. So when 8 and 9s come up, folks, these guys are lighting up the scoreboard. So incredible. Very, very dangerous. And Davis and Johns, power forward and center for Denver, are 2 remarkable players. They both score on 8, 9, and 10, and they score 5 points per instance. So this team probably, I randomly created these teams, but I think Denver's probably going to be the champion. This team is powerful. And over here, we have one guy that can score 5 on 9, another guy who can score 4 on 9. But we don't have any double instances of 5. Like they have 4 instances to score 5 points. That's epic for a team. Okay, so it's 39, but ironically, Denver is up. Pueblo's up 46-39 after the first, and we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4 personal fouls in the first quarter. I should be checking those. Matter of fact, let's do it. So the first personal foul was 6. That's going to be the 6th man. That's Kipling. And for Pueblo, it was the 4-man, 1, 2, 3, 4 Bell. The second personal foul for each was the 4-man, 1, 2, 3, 4, power forward. And 1 point guard. Third personal foul for, Davis, their big stud. This is why you want to do it, because Davis is a beast. And 3. The last personal foul of the first quarter. Oh my God, Davis has drawn 3 fouls. And again, you don't worry about benching him because the game's going to simulate. And when it does, if he fouls out, you just have to scratch him out. He can't score anymore. And the last one here. Okay, so they spread their fouls out among 4 players. Davis against Bell and Ruiz is collected 3 personal fouls. So Davis is in foul trouble, folks, in the first. That is so fun. All right, here we go. It's going to be 8. This is going to be a big score for both teams. Denver on 8 scores 3, 6, 16. They take away 2, 14 points. So Denver comes out after the break and lights up the scoreboard. Wilson, 3, 7. 7 minus 2 is 5. Denver scores 5. I thought they scored 8. 8 is 3, 7, 7 minus 2 is 5. Whoops, so I did this wrong over here. This should have been 5, not 8. So they have 41. 39-41, folks. And 5. 7 minus 2 is 5, yeah. All right, so Denver, big run right there. 7 personal foul. Oh my God. So this is going to make a liar out of me. The fouls aren't going to be a big deal. Well, these 2 teams don't like each other. And who's the first foul on? Oh my God, if this is Davis. Oh, Davis draws 4. You got to be kidding me. 5, the center. They have separated all theirs, but Davis now in foul. What is foul trouble now? Is it 5? 5 and you're out? Is that right? I think it is. And the finishing the turn is 6. And yes, you can have back-to-back personal fouls, folks. 6 is going to be 3. 3, and then defense is going to stop all of it. Wow, so Denver gets nothing after the foul. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, minus 4 is 7. Denver, it is, in this quarter, it is 16 to 12. All right, 9, this is huge. Denver on 9. We already talked about how good they are on 8. But on 9, they are 5. that. They get 5 in defense. No defense against Johns there, the power forward. So the power forward with 4 fouls gets 5 points. 9 over here is Wilson for 3. James for 5. That's 8. Bell, 9, 10, 11, 15. And they have no 9 defense, which is just unheard of. 15. And this is where Pueblo is going to whoop them if that continues. 10. Finally, we see a 10. They have one man, Johns, the center, scores 5. And Grant, off the bench guard, scores 2. That's 7. And 10. No defense for that. Denver gets 7 without a bucket stop. Over here, we have one man who scores 3 for them. They have no defense. And folks, we got a hell of a game here. A battle between Pueblo and Denver. 7. You got to be kidding me. Say it ain't so. Uh-oh. If this is a 4, Davis is done. Yo, he fouls out. This could change everything. Davis of Denver fouls out in second quarter. That is crazy. And we now have to put a line through him to remind me, do not use Davis. Holy, and that's huge. He is an 8-9 with a 5-point score every time he comes up. Pueblo, Ruiz drew a foul. Oh my God. All right, let's go ahead. So 2 and 2, and let's go ahead and roll the second number. Is 6. Man, that's crazy. 6 is 0 and 7. We already know that. And Pueblo's winning this game, folks. And 6 again. For the final 2 minutes, 6 is going to be 0 and 7. All right, so Denver, after 2, is going to get 16, 21, 28, 30, 30. Denver scores 30. That's going to give them at halftime 69 points. Pueblo is going to get 5, 6, 7, 14, 29, 32, 39, 46. They have 87 points at halftime, folks. They're both on a record pace. Unbelievable. But there's a huge problem. Davis is fouled out, leaving Kipling and Hill to fill the hole, and it ain't the same, folks. Unbelievable. Okay, let's start the third quarter. It is 87-69 at halftime. Holy cow. 5. There we go. We get a rare number here. 5. We're going to get 3 from Lake. He drains a three-pointer. And 4 for Hill. That's 7. And unfortunately, 2 defense. 4 off 7 is 3. Denver's going to score 3. Incredible. Great defense there. Over here, we're not going to get a single point from Pueblo on a 5. So that hurts Pueblo. That's going to keep them from hitting that record number. 7. Oh, no. And this is on 4. Well, there is no 4, so we're just going to count that against the forward coming off the bench. So that would have been Davis's 6th foul, folks. And 1. That's the second foul for Wilson. Man. So they both score 2. And then we have to roll another ER roll, and that's going to be 3. 3 is going to be a 3-pointer from Steele, and no defense for that. So Denver gets 3. And over here, nobody can score on a 3. So again, Pueblo has not scored in the first 4 minutes. 3! Holy cow, that's going to be Denver 3, Pueblo 0. Pueblo has not scored in 6 minutes of action. Denver has gone on a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 run. 11-0 run in the first 6 minutes of action. 2! What the hell? No one scores for Denver. No one scores here. Oh my God, folks. This is going to bring it back down to planet Earth. 9. Here we go. Denver on 9. Davis is not in anymore. They're going to score nothing now. That would have been Davis getting 9 uncontested. Now it's 0. Then we get 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 13. Wow. 9 is 15 points for Denver. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, 15 for Denver uncontested. Makes up for a slow start. And the final roll is 12. Another rare roll. Nobody scores for Denver on 12. Nobody scores. Wow. So in this period, Denver scores 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 points. They got 80. Now we're back down to planet Earth. Jeez, Pueblo scores 3. No, Pueblo scores 15. Oh my God. 87 and 15, still a good score. They may win on that alone. 102 going into the fourth. So suddenly, at halftime, they were on a record pace. Things have settled down quite a bit. And part of that's because Davis fouled out. Unbelievable. Oh, wait, no, 17. 104. We got 17 because we had a foul. 17 points, so 104. Wow, 24-point difference, though, as Pueblo has absolutely busted. And you can see why Davis drew fouls. He was frustrated, totally frustrated with how they were treating him over here. All right, last quarter. 5, good number again, rare number. That's going to be 3, so 3-point bucket for Lake. And 4 for Hill, that's 7. Defense, -6, 3 points. Denver gets 3. And Pueblo scores nothing. Oh, another slow start for Pueblo. 7 is another foul, so Denver 2. Pueblo 2. Who got the foul? 5, the center, Johns gets his first. And 2, that's the second one. So both guards have 2. Nice. And our finish our year 7, another personal foul. Oh my God, so 2-2 again. Who gets this one? Shooting guard, Lake, and shooting guard has 3. Uh-oh, folks, we may see somebody foul out, and you do not roll the ER again. If you get 2 personal fouls, you do not roll another ER. That's it. So we go into the next minute. 5 is Denver 3. Pueblo 0. Not good, man. Pueblo's just lightened up. They're like, we're whooping their, let's just be cool. And then 9. This is going to be big. Denver on 9 now. They had a 5-point man. They don't have it now. So his fouling out cost them 5 points. And 10 points total in the second half. And Denver gets 15. We already know that damage. So, right? I mean, Pueblo gets 15. And the last 4 minutes of action at 10. That's 5 points from the big center, John. 2 from Grant. That's 7. No defense against that. Denver scores 7. Pueblo gets 3. No defense for that. 3. And this is it. Final 2 minutes of the game. 8. And 8 is a big one for Denver. 8 gets 3, 6, 11. 11 and -2 is 9. Denver scores 9. Over here we got 3, 7. 7 -2 is 5. And that's it, folks. Denver in this quarter will score 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17, 26. That's very nice. Pueblo scores let's put that in. So 80, 26 is 106 points. So Pueblo should win this. And Pueblo scores 0, 4, 19, 24, 27 by 1 point. And they had 104 plus 27. They're going to get 131. So Denver 106, Pueblo 131 in a brilliant game in which we saw Davis in the first half foul out. I'm pretty sure 5 fouls is a foul out, right? I can't remember. Jeez, my brain just quit. So that's amazing. So, and again, you can have back-to-back personal fouls on a turn, and then you do not roll the ER after that. So personal foul, roll another ER. If you roll another personal foul, that's all that can happen is, you're going to see those points locked in, and you're going to see those guys collecting fouls. So in the game, we had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 PFs, 18 personal fouls between the teams in this game, right? Obviously, that can change depending on how many times you roll the 7. I didn't track individual steals, blocks, rebounds, and points, but you could go through and break out points easily. And because you know your turn number, you can do steals,
and blocks and rebounds. As long as you know your turn number, your ER, if you track your ER, you can go at the end of the game, you can go give everybody the rebounds, everything. So there you have it, folks. That is EGE Basketball 1.2. There has been a couple of typo corrections in the booklet this morning, so there's now version 1.2 with just a couple of typos. All the typos were, I forgot to tell people that you have to limit the starters to 8. So if anybody ordered the book yesterday on the, what is it, yesterday, 8/22? Today's the 23rd, I think. The typo correction was to remind people that the starters must be limited to 8 for each team. So it was a simple typo, that's all. That's it. No rule changes. Just reminding people that if you have a 15-man roster, you can only start 8 of them. You can only put 8 of them in jerseys. Incredible. So, man, we were looking at a 69-87 game at halftime, and things steadied out and sobered up in the second half. The score ends up 106-131. Pueblo absolutely dominates. And that domination came mostly on those 9 rolls. When you roll a 9, the Pueblo scores. They are a beast. They have a lot of guys who can produce on 9s. Over here, a lot of guys who can produce on 8s. But Davis fouled out, removing an 8 and a 9, which are both 5 points plays. So Davis on those 9s would have been adding 5 points. So there were 2 9s rolled after Davis fouled out. So Davis would have scored 10 more points in the game. That would have made it. And they were literally zeros. So had Davis been in, so what did Davis mean to them? I can literally tell you, Davis would have scored 10 more points. It would have been 116-131. They still would have got thumped, but it would have been a little closer. So losing Davis, who's probably going to be in our league, the best player, one of the best players in the league, with an 8, 9, and 5 points per instance, he's going to be a beast. But if he continues to foul out, folks, the Denver coach is going to want to move him. Denver is an 8-heavy team. They probably should trade a player with an 8 to bring in another 6 or something. They have way too many 8s, and they only have 1 6. They don't have any 4s. They have 1 4. They don't have any 12s. So this is a team that would be wise to move one of their 8 players and diversify. This team has 1, 2, 3, 4 9s. And remember, there's 2 players on both teams that I don't have on here. So Denver might even have another 8 off on among their bench players. Pueblo has 4 9s, but they're single point. 2 of them are single point instances. So you don't really want to trade one of these guys away, but you could to quit because they only have one. But 6s. They have 1, 2, 3 6s and 3 9s. They have 2 8s, but they have 1 10. So this team doesn't have a 12, doesn't have a 3, doesn't have a 4, doesn't have a 5. Pueblo could diversify by dumping one of their 9s and trading for a 5 or a. Obviously 9 is a little more, but they don't have. Again, they don't have a 3, they don't have a 4, they don't have a. Excuse me. Yeah, so they're missing quite a few numbers. So this team needs to diversify just to get a couple more numbers. This team has too many 8s. So when they roll an 8, it can be devastating. But if you're playing a team with a lot of 8 defenders, and there are going to be lots of 8 defenders in the league because it's one of the most common numbers, those 8s will be, against a team with, say, 3 8 defenders is going to lose quite a few points. So there you have it, folks. That is game 2. The other game I did on a screen capture is the world debut between a team I made on the fly, Clearwater Rascals. I just made them on the fly so people can see how you make a game. This one I'm actually featuring the 2 of the teams that are in the book, 2 of the 6 teams that are in the book. And again, a reminder, as of this morning, the PDF, the book has been updated, just a minor correction in the rule book that you have to have 8 starters per team to play. So you don't use 10, 11, or 12, you use 8 of your 15 or 12 or 10 or whatever you got. So it was something I felt I should address because it's confusing. Because in my screen capture game, I used all 10. But that is not normal. You're supposed to use 8. So you would have your 5 starters and a backup guard, a backup forward, a backup center, right? And of course, one of those could be your 6th man, whoever you think your 6th man is. But all right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.